There we go. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm back from Scouts. Never underestimate the power of a woman with scouting skills, right? And the cool part is like this glows in the dark. Not as much as it did when it was first new, but it still glows. But I am back from summer camp. We had a great time. It was an incredibly busy time. This camp had no siesta because they had so many kids they had to break up lunches. We were the purple lunch. So we ended up with no siesta. Siesta is usually a block of time after lunch where you can work on service projects for the troop. For the camp. You can work on your merit badge stuff. You can work on mentoring kids. I got almost zero mentoring done this week. This camp was so packed with stuff. Kids were going to bed by 9:30. Day one, no. Still, excitement, classes haven't started. Sunday was a challenge to get them to bed. Monday, still challenge to get the majority of them to bed. Quiet time starts at 10. By 10:30, y'all need to be in your tents. None of you are old enough to have earned the privilege of being able to sit around the table and stay up to 11. That's a senior patrol privilege. They haven't earned it yet. They're also, majority of them are 15. So they're not there yet. They're 14, a bunch of 14 and 15-year-olds. And I question how many of them are 15. I think we have 2 that are already 15. So it's a very young troop at the moment. So with that schedule they had, morning was all merit badge classes. A few people took 1 or 2 merit badge classes in the afternoon, but they didn't have a whole block of merit badge classes in the afternoon at this camp. They had all kinds of games and activities, but what they didn't have was open shoot. Didn't really have open swim. It was an issue. We had a kid who wanted to finish getting their riflery merit badge because they needed that score, and he wasn't allowed to shoot because they didn't have open shoot. And even though it was for a merit badge, he wasn't allowed to shoot with the period for those who are currently taking the merit badge to get their time in. So hopefully next year's camp will be better. We already voted on next year's camp. We are going to the Chesapeake Bay next year. I need to see this camp because if it's all sunlight and no shade, I may not go. But Mike really, really, really wants me to see. This was his first summer camp where we're going next year. And it has a history of being incredibly difficult to get into the first time you try. But we have someone on our troop that is fantastic. He got a hold of the phone number for the camp. The direct phone number for the camp director, not the general voice box phone number. I don't know how, but he did. And then yes, Elron, I'll get you water. But he called the very next day and said, well, we want to know if we can get in for summer next year. And they went, what? So he explained how we choose, and the kids really want to go there. And so then not only did they say, okay, yeah, we'll put you on the list. We are the first ones for next year. And he also picked out our campsite already. Now this year we took 31 kids. Odds are next year we will probably take more. We had 31 kids, 8 adults. So yeah. So we will probably have more than that next year, especially as it's along the Chesapeake Bay. And so it'll be fun, but it'll be a challenge for this pale little Irish German girl to be out in a lot of sunlight on the bay. But that's a worry for next summer. But I did have a problem towards the end of the week in that where I was stuck sitting was near a wall. I could not get out. The tables there are so close together. And so I did not, except for the first 2 days where I got to sit on the end, I did not get a chance to have a salad. So that created an issue with the hernias by the time we came home. So for those of you who don't have hernias, hernias can fill with solid food and not pass it through like it's supposed to. This is an issue. You have to have a lot of fiber while you're waiting for surgery. That didn't happen at camp. Not those last few days. So Saturday afternoon I slept. A lot of Sunday I slept because my stomach and my side really hurt because too much in there. And it's just for lack of not having enough fiber. And that's all we're going to say on that topic. But that was, that was Sunday. So yesterday was spent getting unpacked all the way, things put away, laundry in the laundry basket, started working on merit badges because I had to figure out what was actually completed, what wasn't. Some things were marked completed for kids that didn't do their prereqs, and there's no way they finished that merit badge. Like camping has some very specific requirements. Like you have to spend 20 nights camping. You have to do 2 of 6 of very specialized trips. And I know these kids didn't either, yet they were marked off as completed the merit badge, and we're like, no. You were given a list of who had completed it, and the merit badge counselor got it reversed. Even though it clearly said yes to this requirement and this requirement, no, did not complete prereqs. How do you miss that? I don't know, but they did. So I've had to go through every single merit badge requirement in their computerized system. And it's a good thing I did it the first night, because when I went back into it yesterday, somebody had gone in and just marked stuff off as done that even the kids told me, I didn't do that. That's not okay to cheat like that, especially on Eagle required merit badges. That's not okay. So I have to sort all that out yet. But I came home, and today is trying to deal with the kitchen. Sink full of dishes. He did get the trash out. Gary did get the kitchen trash out. My sister did check on him, came down, gave him some food, and he bragged about how he made it last him 3 days because it was enough for a meal. Yeah, so we've also had to run for him to get checked by a doctor yesterday. On Sunday. So now I feel like I'm actually home. All the running around on Sunday, and you're trying to decompress Monday. So now I am tackling the kitchen. I am right now tackling the fridge because I figured while it's empty, or somewhat empty, I'll pull out all the shelves, wash them, purge things. I had purged some things before, but ran out of time. We had a problem on the day we left last week, and I'm gonna go show you the problem. Let me put water in their bowl for the kitties. One big problem I had for 2 days is I couldn't bend at all. I could not bend without pain, so I'm better now. But let's take a walk. I have not yet started on your stuff because I really need to clean up the spills and things that happened while we were gone. My kitchen is full of fruit flies, and deal with that. I had to put a strip up for flies before we left because Gary's been leaving his window open for the cat to come in and out. So yeah, we're going through the dark back hallway. Sorry if you cannot see. But we had a big issue before we left. And I mean, oh shoot, the light broke? Yeah, oh, you can't see it. That shouldn't be cockeyed like that. So turn you around. There's grit and crud all over the floor. There's pans everywhere now. The leak up there, it broke out. Let me see if I can get you lined up. So it broke out. This whole end of the wall of the ceiling collapsed. And I don't know how, but where are you? I'm trying to line up the camera. Water got to the end of the table, so I got to clear all out of there. It got to stuff that was here. The floor got all wet. It's a nightmare. The leak has moved. You can see discoloring here. All that right there, that's new. So somehow the leak has moved. So before we can have showers, I need to deal with this. And Mike and I aren't going to be able to last another day. It's hot and humid today. And I see Spider has had a field day because there's can you even see it? There's a giant web from the window over to the door frame. I'll be getting rid of that. But yeah, I got a lot to do today. But I wanted to let you know that I'm home. I'm in one piece. I had no trips to the ER. We did get somebody checked for having banged their head onto a rock. So we thought better to get that checked. So we got that taken care of. Everybody's fine. No problem. You know, some of these people are taller than others and think they can jump like the boys do. And so I'm going to be working on in here, but I want to purge the kitchen first because there's a bunch of recycling sitting in there. That goes to go out tonight for tomorrow morning. So my plan for today, if you don't get any emails from me today, this is why. When I first came out here, there was mildew on all the woodwork from like here down. All the woodwork had white mildew on it because there was no airflow in here. So I opened up the powder room window in there before we left. But this was a mad scramble. We had an hour. That's all we had to empty the water, get what we could out. Somebody had wanted the TARDIS dress. I'm sorry. It was in the bottom of a box. I don't know how long this had been leaking, but there were boxes that were absolutely shot. And there's a box down there on the bottom that's probably books of mine, and it's not going to be good when I can finally get to it. But I need to get a spray bottle and some vodka because that will kill the mildew on the woodwork. It kills mildew on paper and clothing. And so everything that's paper and wood has got to get sprayed down. So at some point I need to go to the dollar store and get a spray bottle. I found my mother's thing of vodka. Not that she drank it, but because she would use it on fabric. And I found an unopened bottle in the dining room when I was searching for the doctor. So it's a good thing I did, because I'm going to need it. It still smells musty in here. I'm afraid my masks, I still have a few disposable dust masks, but because they were out here, I question whether they'll be any good. I have to really inspect them. But this is today's project and the kitchen. I'm going to spend another hour on the kitchen and then come out here and check those masks and then see what I can do. Some of this stuff has to go into smaller boxes anyway because I can't lift a lot of these. And I had to just, I had to just cram stuff in here because I had to have somewhere to move it to. So, and there's no ventilation in here until I can get to that door and crack it open. And since Morgan ripped the screen on the bottom of the door, oh, hello, what are you doing out here? I don't want you out here. No, don't start pushing books, Aragorn. Go on, out, go, out into the house. Go. Good boy. So I didn't shut the door because I wanted airflow. But I can't let him in here. He's the one that likes to climb up on the boxes to try to get in the ceiling. And I also, because I don't know what dust and mildew could be in here, I don't want the cats in here. Absolutely not. So So that's where things stand. I will be live for an hour Thursday night because Friday morning early, Mike leaves for the high adventure trip up off the coast of Maine to some island. It's a national park. I keep forgetting the name. Anyway, he's going up there. So he'll be gone from this Friday morning till 2 Sundays from now. And then I'll have to pick him up when they come back. So I have to be up really early Friday morning and drive. So I'm just going to do a chat this Thursday, and I will see you then. Meanwhile, say a prayer for me, please, that I don't mess up my lungs or my hernias. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to go slow, but I absolutely need to start tackling this because I don't know how on earth water hit that table, but I've got to clear that table and then just deal with everything. I mean, it's just, that's what it is. It's just deal with everything. This is my life. This has been my life for years, ever since Dad died. It's been since 96. You're like hopping from crisis to crisis to crisis. And I'm not happy with that. I'm just not. Now, I had a week in the woods, so I'm in a great mindset. I knew. Mike kept saying, do we really have to do this now? And I turned around and looked at him and went, do you really want me? You know what this week is for me. It's my absolute biggest detox for the year. Do you really want me to have to come home and deal with this? Or can we just get as much out now as we can and do what we can? And he said, yeah, I get it. We need to do this now. Bless his little heart. And I mean that in a good way. Because I would have just completely lost all that stress relief if I had come home to what we dealt with that morning. I would have completely just lost it. And the new medication for anxiety is not Xanax, and it's not working. I'm having all kinds of awful side effects with it. So it's useless. It's just useless. Massive headache, massive exhaustion. It basically knocks me out cold. What good is that? He says, oh, you take it at night before you go to bed. I'm like, you don't understand. Anxiety attacks happen during the day. They don't happen at night. They happen during the day. You basically gave me something so I'll sleep better, but nothing that's going to help with the anxiety attacks. So we dealt with this first as much as we could. So I'm going to go. I have to get back to that kitchen and finish my hour out there. I want to do at least the door of the refrigerator, and then make sure I have some water, cool drink. I am sweating to death being out here because without the door open, there's no real proper flow of air. That's been a problem with this room forever. It's just always hot. It gets all the morning sun, and so that back wall heats up, and there's no good cross ventilation. So, unless you have that door open and this door open. So, it is what it is. It is what it is, and what do we do? What do we do at my channel? We work with what we've got. That's what we do. And we take steps forward, even if they're tiny baby steps. We take steps forward. Every day. Little bitty steps. Eventually, you look back behind you and you realize you've come quite a way. I mean, this isn't ideal, but, you know, we've come quite a way. Think about last year. We got into the dining room. We got into the dining room. That was a big deal. Yeah, now it's a little packed to get into the doorway, but I did it. And I purged more when I did it. We have gotten stuff out of Mike's room. I have gotten stuff out of this room before this. I have managed to We've managed to get the leak in the roof, we believe, 99% fixed, which is a big thing. Absolutely big thing. So this will be the next big project, is to get this plumbing fixed. But to do that, a lot of other stuff has to happen. I have to pack up all your stuff, get it to you. I have to get all this stuff sorted out. My challenge in here is to just clear out what I know got wet that we couldn't get to. So I don't know how far under that pile on that table that water went, but that table dips towards the center. So I have to get to that table. We got everything that was wet that was on the floor. We got all but that one box. There had been another box that had been affected. And we got to that and got that box out of here, got the books that it totally damaged and destroyed that were the out of here. That one box that had been so wet on the floor luckily had fabric in it of mine, but it was all in a plastic bag. So none of it got wet. The damp, it was sealed up pretty tight, so the damp didn't get to any of the fabric. It didn't have a single bit of musty smell to it. It was fabulous. I was so happy. But that was at least steps forward before we left, and now I'm going to continue steps forward while I'm home and just keep plugging away. So I will see you Thursday. We will continue the journey and we'll have a chat for an hour. I will start at 11 o'clock and go to midnight on Thursday. So if you want to go shopping at Sugar Britches, sweet ass stuff, you can, because she has sales on Thursday. And I'll let Lorianne know that I'm not going to start till 11. And because sometimes if she knows I'm going at 10, she tries to stop by then. But she always has such fantastic stuff. So hopefully I will see you in the chat at Lorianne's. And if you like what you see at her channel, by all means, subscribe. She is not to her 1,000 yet. We need to get Lorianne to her 1,000. Actually, you need a buffer. You need about a 1,100 so you have a buffer, because she's not monetized yet. And we really need to get her there. So I'll see you Thursday night. And remember, this week is baby steps. Take your time, little steps at a time, even if it's 15 minutes. Set a timer. Do what you can. Baby steps. Because in some areas of the country, the weather is wild. It's hot. It's on fire. It's wet. It's muggy like here. Baby steps. Because we don't want anybody getting overheated or overwhelmed by all that's going on around them. Just understand that it's a good thing to take baby steps and straighten out your personal space so it's not as chaotic for you. Whatever helps make you feel more comfortable in your space. See you Thursday night. Bye, everybody.